Hello, Reject Nation. It's Greg Alba here.
And it's John Humphrey over here.
We just came back from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Boy, was half the crowd clapping when that was done. We're going to do a non-spoiler review for you guys. We're going to do our best to keep it short, but we're going to do a spoiler review right after this. Yes. So, you know, so that way, because I know not everyone's seen the movie yet. But before we do that, we want to give a shout out. We really want to give a shout out to today's video sponsor. That would be Stardust. I'm sure you guys have heard us talk about it by now already, but Stardust is this app that allows you to do 30-second reactions for any film, TV show, or trailer, and I really like this app a lot because I used to have this idea of doing 30-second reviews like a lot of people have. After a while, you get so caught up in your opinion, you don't want to do that anymore. But Stardust is like the great, most efficient place if you just want to get the beats, the highlights of what someone thinks. It's really fun to use, and then it's especially good for like old movies or TV shows, something that's not super up-to-date or relevant or something that we normally don't cover.
The indie stuff.
We could do stuff on Stardust for you guys. And a lot of you guys have been following us on the app. The community is really growing over there. We wanted to feature some of your guys' reactions from Stardust, so here you go.
Justice League. Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's me, Batman.
I can't believe I've just seen a live action Justice League film.
Short version of the reaction.
Overall, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't bad. They need to fix the green screen.
The CGI is kind of meh, the villain was really bad, but overall it was great and so much fun.
It was a very entertaining movie. It definitely had some amazing fight scenes, great choreography.
It was pretty good. CGI yet again let the film down.
I liked the characters. Villain was a little weak, I think.
Short version.
Go.
Bad movie.
It's a fun cartoon. Bad movie.
Well, there you go. Mixed bag of opinions. So make sure to download the app and follow us first at The Real Rejects. Link in the description box, link in the pinned comment. We do actively use this app and we really do love using it. You're gonna hear us talk about it more, so get ready.
Updated it just today.
Now on to our full Justice League review. Hey, you guys are still here.
Hey.
Another real quick thing I want to mention. Shout out to Ruben over there who came up to us at the movie theater. Yeah. We didn't really get a chance to talk. He was with his really hot girlfriend or hot sister, whatever. She looked his age, so I got to assume something.
Hot associate.
Hot associate. Thanks, Ruben. You seemed like a really nice guy. Sorry we couldn't chat more. We were with friends. We don't know how to handle those situations too well, but shout out to you, buddy. I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talk about this movie. I'm sure you've heard a lot of opinions about this film. In some ways, everyone's right about this movie. Yeah, everyone's correct about this film. I've personally found this film to be very cheesy, very corny. I believe that's what I've been saying that I was anticipating this movie to be, and I have never said that in a negative way. So I walked away from this movie going, yeah, I'm aware that maybe overall when you weigh what's good and bad, it probably will fall on the technically not so great side. However, I gotta tell you guys, like, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the hell out of this film. Every time they were on screen, maybe I'm just a sucker for like cool comic book shots and seeing the whole team assembled, whatever. Every time they were on screen, especially when they're suited up, I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. Do I wish they had solo films for, yeah, especially for Aquaman. He was the one where out of everyone, I was like, he's the one who should have had his solo film first. The actors did such a good job with the characters, with their roles. The chemistry was definitely there. There was nothing off at all with the characters. Everything that's off with this movie is plot, some pacing, some editing, and
writing.
It's
underwritten.
It's everything out of the actors. Yeah.
Everything is fine, and the cast is good.
That's the parts that you have problems with. Well, this sometimes feels off consistently when they're just talking with each other or trying to have character scenes. I've never really too emotionally invested. I never feel the stakes, even though they keep repeating what the stakes are with the damn mother boxes and Steppenwolf.
It has no emotional center really, so all the emotional scenes feel very disjointed, and some of them work and some of them don't.
Well, that's the point though, is that sometimes there's some really good emotional scenes. There's one scene with Cyborg and the Flash where
that was a cool
scene. And there's even some random scene with Lois Lane and Martha Kent.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I didn't show up at all to see these guys, but I like this scene.
I think I like you more than I have in any of the previous movies. There are all sorts of like good little nuggets that pop up here and there, and I think the thing that could have used the most of those was the thing that got the least, which was Steppenwolf, because Steppenwolf leaves no impression on this movie and is overshadowed by the boxes. You know? So by the end of it, Steppenwolf never feels very scary or threatening, and part of that has to do with just how the movie treats the civilians to to the fodder. But I don't even know why they got that actor not really given much to do, and the CG on him just covers everything up.
The CGI on him is flat out terrible.
It's like
and
a PS3
that's
game.
kind of a problem with a lot of the scenes in here, because even outside of Steppenwolf, there are some scenes where the CGI just does not look very good.
And it hampers some of the action, and it hampers, you know, some of the flow of the movie.
Like, there's that fight they tease in the trailer that takes place at that Mascara. It was conflicting for me because I was thinking to myself, this is technically all really cool stuff, but I'm so used to the Wonder Woman movie in Themyscira when it's clearly stunt woman and practical effects. It was distracting how much CGI there was with the human beings.
Yeah, and that's one of the fights I liked more in this movie. Like, I thought it was cool that we finally got to see, you know, like, full-on, like, horseback battles, swords and arrows and all sorts of stuff. The CG they used to stitch it all together really does make it feel disjointed, especially coming off Wonder Woman.
This is the definition of DC taking all the notes and going, everyone said we're too dark, so we need to really lighten things up.
Let's take all these notes 100%.
Yeah, they went full opposite spectrum. So it's a much lighter tone. Everyone's cracking jokes. Batman cracks jokes. Sometimes they land. Sometimes you're like, I don't know if Batman would really crack a joke right now, but okay. A lot of this movie, I kept going, wait a minute, what? And never mind. I'm cool. Just keep doing your thing.
Yeah, there's a lot you're gonna forgive.
The easiest way to sum this movie up of why I feel like I can forgive it is because I've seen a lot of the DC animated movies and I've seen a lot of the DC shows. Watching this felt like I was watching an animated movie or a DC live action show. While this movie would work better in those formats, like if you literally took this movie and just made it animated, all the problems that people are finding, including us, would just be a million times easier to forgive simply because it's an animated movie.
Yeah.
At the same time, that's part of its weird charm to me, is that it's just it's so cheesy and it's such a cartoon. The rules of the world established in this movie are sometimes not applicable.
There are no rules.
Hence, there's a really big lack of danger that's actually
there's no
felt.
Suspense. There's no thrill to much of the actual like stakes at hand.
It's just a fun comic book adventure, and the thing is, it's coming at a time when you get some great emotional and believable comic book movies, and this goes back to being like really cheesy and corny
like it's
and
from
silly.
More than 10 years ago.
I gotta say though, and I'm not just saying it, I'm like, this is pretty much exactly what I've been saying I'm thinking this film is gonna be, and then by the time it's done, I'm like, yeah, that's almost exactly what I wanted it was. The characters are good, the plot is weak, and I kind of anticipated that. Like, I didn't really feel like they were ever gonna be in danger. It's everything I expected the film to be. A really nice surprise, and I will say for the spoilers, is how they handle Superman.
Yeah, actually.
How they handle Superman.
One of the best things.
This might be the best version of Henry Cavill's Superman we've gotten.
Oddly enough, I feel like this might be my favorite thing about the movie.
I laughed. There were some pretty cool action moments. There's a lot of like cool comic book shots.
Yeah.
There's so many times where they're lined up that I'm like, what? Do they intentionally? This is the Fast and the Furious?
Did any of you guys see Deadpool? Because we can't pose that many times to do that many superhero landings without it being like, guys, like, please.
It's one of those flawed movies that I can't help but just feel entertained by. Because even though it's filled with flaws, the flaws would entertain me. And then when it's good, that would entertain me. So I was thoroughly entertained. There was maybe one or two moments where I was a little bit bored, and that's just like them talking when they're not suited up. If one of them has their suit on, I'm usually fine.
This movie gains a lot of goodwill in that it's not taking itself too seriously anymore. It takes some of the notes in the way opposite direction, but I feel like every element of this movie has points where it's not so good and points where it's pretty good, and that applies to everything. I almost feel the same way you do about the whole movie, but just a little less because the excitement of seeing them all together doesn't save as much for me. I do think that everybody on the cast, including Cyborg, more than I thought, because everyone said he was like the weak link.
Batman's kind of cool. Wonder Woman was good. She did her thing. But the highlights to me were the Flash and Cyborg, more than Aquaman. I think Jason Momoa will probably kill it in his solo Aquaman movie, and I think Jason Momoa delivers his lines great in this film. He surprisingly felt like he might be the least essential to the team.
I was having trouble figuring out what he added after a while beyond one particular moment, which, you know, if you paid attention to clips. And even Batman in the second half of the movie, I was sort of like, I feel like there are some people on this team who are way more essential to this fight, the scale of this fight, than you are.
Because he's the leader bringing them to where to fight, but he's not even like really leading during the fight, you know? He's never playing leader role. He's more like, I found it, let's go. And he unites the team.
Then it seems like everyone's pretty willing to do it. It doesn't do the Avengers thing where at first they don't all they can't get along. Like, they think they kind of do a little bit, but for the most part, everybody's on board. I was surprised that Barry and Cyborg ended up being my favorite characters. Cyborg because he felt the most like a character, and Barry because he was the most fun to watch.
So yeah, overall, I was just summing up by saying it's exactly what I've been saying in all the trailer reactions. It was an entertaining time. It was cheesy. It was corny. It was a live action cartoon. While it's flawed, the flaws would amuse me. It wasn't flawed in the way of like BVS, where I'm like, this is dull.
It's not making me mad. Nothing really moved me, and nothing really thrilled me all that much. I kept having the anticipation for like, things are finally gonna get cool and maybe grab me.
Yeah.
And they never quite did. But it's a pretty fun animated movie. It's a pretty fun cartoon.
All right, DC and Marvel fans, did you see Justice League? What did you think is better? Age of Ultron or Justice League?
It's a decent question.
All right, well, you guys can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Please click that notification bell to get notified every time one of our videos is up. Make sure to download and follow us on the Stardust app that is part of the Reject community now. So make sure to follow us there. Check out our Patreon. Come give us a hug.